Alright, welcome back. This is Blake from Guardian Realms TCG. I am the developer of this game, Guardian Realms, and we are looking at the Tabletop Simulator workshop of the actual game. I'm about to get into how to actually play the game. We'll do a little tutorial for you today, but if you missed it, or if you haven't already seen the previous video where we actually built our own deck, this deck here, make sure that you click the link in the description so you're caught up. Otherwise, if you're just here to learn the game, let's get started. So, if you're new to the game and you're just playing it on Tabletop Simulator, you've got a rulebook here, but I'll go over everything when we need to. To play the game, what you'll need, you've got some dice and coins on the actual tabletop map. With your friend or your opponent, you want to flip a coin for initiative. So I'm going to call heads. And it landed on tails, so my opponent will have the initiative here, and they've selected to go first. So why is that important? Why is initiative important? Well, if you are going first, you've got DZ points and summon points to keep track of. The player going first will have one DZ point and one summon point, and each round you will increase your DZ by 1 and your SP by 1. However, when you use DZ, each round it replenishes back to full. So for example, if it's round 2, I would have 2 DZ points. I've used all my DZ points in that round. The next round it would replenish back to full, which is my new cap of 3. SP is very similar, but it doesn't replenish back to full. So again, on the second round, if I have 2 SP and I use both of my SP, the next round I'm going to go back to 1. Now if you're going second, you actually start with 1 SP and 2 DZ points. At the beginning of the game, both players will actually draw their 3 cards. You can see my opponent has already drawn their 3, so I'm going to draw mine. And as I'm drawing these cards, if I don't like them, I have 1 chance to redraw. So I can put these back in my deck, and I can shuffle, and I can redraw, and I can hope for a better hand. So on turn 1, if you are the player going first, you actually take another card out of your pile. So you start with 3 cards and then you draw 1. And then every time a player's turn starts, that player must draw a card. At the moment, it's my opponent's turn. When he passes the turn to me, it'll be my turn. And at the completion of both turns, that's 1 full round. So my opponent didn't have anything, so they've actually passed the turn to me. So it's time to get started. At the beginning of one's turn, you draw. So looking at my hand, you can see that I've got 2 Guardians, 1 effect, and 1 equipment card. In normal circumstances, I can't actually do anything because I don't have enough SP. However, because I have this card, the first, I can actually summon, if I want to, either of the Hate Watcher or the Baolan Sentinel. Just be aware that some of these effect cards have activation costs. The first card, for example, if I were to play this, would deplete my DZ points completely. It is still a very strong play, and so that's what I'm going to do. We're going to put down our first card, and I'm going to choose the Baolan Sentinel. Now I'm going to choose to place it in this lane, the left lane. Upon playing this first card, it goes to the discard pile just here, and I now have a very, very strong 15 attack, 25 health card, and it's in this left lane. Now, why did I choose this left lane to place this card down? Again, in normal circumstances, you probably would choose to put a Guardian in the middle here. There's something called visibility. Most cards will only have visibility on the opponents in the direct lane or in the adjacent lane. If I had placed Baolan Sentinel in the middle lane here, I can actually attack any of the 3 lanes. However, if you read Baolan Sentinel's passive, he has something called Wind Walk, and this is where we get into a little bit of the nuance. But Baolan Sentinel, just to explain, has an ability where he could basically hit anything on the field. It is a chance roll, but a 1 to 6 means that I can attack any Guardian in any lane. On a 7 to 12, however, I can hit anything, including the bases. And that's something that we should quickly explain. You'll notice that in each lane, both players have 2 towers or 2 outposts, and in the middle lane, this big castle-looking structure, which we call the Stronghold. The outposts have 50 health. The Strongholds have 100 health. And that's what the objective of the game is, to destroy the Stronghold. However, if you were to destroy one of the outposts, the opponent with the destroyed outpost can no longer place any card in this lane. So defeating your opponent's outpost is also a viable move to cripple them. Another thing to note is when I place down Baolan Sentinel, he is not a rush class. He is just a normal card. Pretty much every card in the game, excluding rush class cards, cannot attack when they are summoned to the board. We have all these different status effects, and they are a little bit blurry on Tabletop Simulator, but for the sake of explaining, we have Exhausted, which currently Baolan Sentinel is exhausted for 1 turn. You have Poison, Confusion, Burn, and Paralysis. To get a hand of what the status effects do, I would really highly recommend looking through the rulebook. But as we encounter it in this game, we'll go over what those status effects do. But pretty much at this stage, I'm depleted for DZ points. I can't summon anything else because I only have 1 SP. I could play the Bag of Salt to give this card a shield, but I'm going to hold off of that for now, just to strategically use it at a better stage. So for now, I'm going to end my turn, and we'll see what our opponent does. Alright, it's back to our turn again, and we can see that on the field, they have placed a Little Brother Kobold card in the middle lane. They've got a Silver Box equipped, and they have a shield. So very importantly with the Little Brother Kobold, you can see that he's a tank class. Tank class is the little icon in the bottom right of the card, the little shield. Again, there are 3 types of classes. You have tank, you have rush, and you have sneak. It was a very smart play from my opponent because now, with my Baolan Sentinel, I can't attack this outpost or stronghold. And the reason being is because the tank is redirecting my damage to him. So as this is the second round and I went second, I've replenished my DZ points to 3. I've got 2 SP because I didn't use any of my SP last round. And I'm going to start my turn by drawing a card. So I drew another Baolan Sentinel. That means I really can't do much else except for just straight up attack at this stage. The Little Brother Kobold only has 20 health, and I've got 15 attack. But, because they have a shield, I'm going to attack the Little Brother Kobold for 1 DZ point. And that's important to note, a basic attack will always take 1 DZ point. But instead of doing damage to that Little Brother Kobold, we simply delete the shield. Now, as I've done a basic attack already, I cannot attack again. But what I will do is, just for defense sake, I'm going to put down this Bag of Salt and give myself a shield. That's just about all I can do this turn, so I'm going to end my turn. So it's back to my turn again, and it was a bit of an uneventful turn for my opponent. They used the Little Brother Kobold to attack my stronghold for 5. Of course, weakening the stronghold is always important. You want to deplete that to 0 to win the game. But they haven't used any of their DZ points, they haven't used any of their SP, and they are building up a strong hand of 4 cards now. And one thing to note with the hand size is this goes up to as much as 8. However, if you reach 8 and then you draw another card over the 8, that card is burned. It's straight to the discard pile. So we're going to start my turn. I've replenished my points. We're going to go with some more card draw. And I've got a really cool card, World Record Pace. So, I've decided I'm going to go with summoning my Hate Watcher for all 3 SP. And I'm going to do it in this very, very right lane. He gets 25 health, he's got a 5 attack, and every single time he attacks, he inflicts Burn. Burn is a very powerful effect because it does 5 damage at the end of your opponent's turn to whoever was inflicted. But another thing is, it stacks. It stacks up to 3. You can get a 3rd degree burn where you're taking 15 damage at the end of each turn. So this card, very, very strong. Sadly, I can't do anything with Hate Watcher this turn because he's not a rush class. And pretty much all I'm going to do with my turn is I'm going to attack with the Baolan Sentinel for another 15 damage on the Little Brother Kobold, who doesn't have a shield anymore, so he will take 15. Now you notice that the silver gift box is still in play, and that's because this equipment also grants this card immunity to poison. But I've depleted his health to 5, I've still got a shield on my Baolan Sentinel. I think we're in a good enough position to just end the turn. Alright, it's back to my turn again, and some big plays from my opponent. First of all, you can see that the Hate Watcher has gone down to 19 health, and we'll explain why, but he's also got Burn. On my opponent's turn, Little Brother Kobold, it was equipped with Sparking Pan. Sparking Pan gives Little Brother Kobold 1 attack, so now he's at 6. He also inflicts Burn on whoever he strikes, guaranteed, and has a chance at paralysis. I rolled for a paralysis check, and I was not paralyzed. When you roll for a paralysis check, you want to roll 4 or higher. If you roll a 4 or higher, which I rolled a 5, you're not inflicted with paralysis. However, if you are, you can basically be paralyzed and unable to do anything with that Guardian for up to 5 rounds. After the 5th round, it's automatically removed. However, every single time that you want to try to do something, you can roll for a paralysis resist check. So luckily my Hate Watcher is not paralyzed, but it is taking 5 damage at the end of my turn. But another thing you'll notice is that the Kobold was at 5 health before, and is now right back up to 20, and that's because they summoned Trogdor of Bunts. Now when this card is placed down, you get 20 health healed on all allies on the field. So basically he used his passive to fully heal the Kobold. This card heals up to 20, but the Kobold was at a cap of 20. It does not make the Kobold go to 25, they just re-heal to their cap. So a very scary turn from my opponent, so we're going to get started here and see what we can do to combat this. I'm going to draw my card, and what I would really love to do is use World Record Pace on the Hate Watcher, but because it's got a burn, I feel like it might be a little bit of a waste. I can't summon anything, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with the Hate Watcher, and I'm going to target Trogdor of Bunts. Now that will deal 5 damage, but also inflict burn. Then with the Baolan Sentinel, I'm going to attack the Little Brother Kobold for 15, bringing that back down to 5. And so that was a use of 2 DZ points, and I'm going to end my turn. As I ended my turn, the Hate Watcher here did take another 5 damage, so they are down to 14. Alright, some big plays from my opponent, and I'll go over them slowly. So, you'll notice the first thing, Trogdor has been defeated. Trogdor is now in the discard pile, and as is this card that he just used, Magical Boost. So one thing with Trogdor is when he's discarded, he applies a shield to a selected ally. The only ally that he was able to apply that to was the Little Brother Kobold. So the Brother Kobold is now shielded again. He also used Magical Boost on the Kobold to give the Kobold plus 5 attack and plus 5 HP. But more importantly, he gave Fury to the Kobold. So the Kobold has now a total of 10 attack, plus the 1 from the Sparking Pan, plus the burn, and increased his health cap to 25, meaning that his health went up from 5 to 10. Little Brother Kobold then focused on my Baolan Sentinel, attacking it twice, so he knocked off my shield on the first attack, and then struck me for 11. And not only did he hit me for 11, but he applied burn to me again. As it stands, I have 2 Guardians on the field that are great. They can attack the Kobold, but they're due to die in a few rounds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use all my SP again, all 3, to put down a second Baolan Sentinel. I'm going to use the Hate Watcher here to attack the Kobold, breaking its shield. And then with my Baolan Sentinel on the left lane, I'm also going to attack the Kobold, killing it. So the 15 attack is enough to kill this Kobold, sending it straight to the discard pile. And along with it goes the Sparking Pan. And I'm going to end my turn. So we have a massive opportunity here because my opponent just straight up passed his turn again. Nothing on the field, so he must have had absolutely nothing in his hand. So I think it makes sense for me to do this at this stage where I'm going to play this World Record Pace card to the Baolan Sentinel in the middle lane. So what that's going to do is that's going to give me a Fury, and that's going to give me a shield to protect this card. This card will then go into the discard pile, and I'm going to full force attack the Stronghold. We are going to attack 4 times. Reason being, we're going to attack once with this Baolan Sentinel for 15 damage. We're going to attack once with this Hate Watcher for 5 damage, bringing that down to, by 20. And then twice with this Baolan Sentinel due to his Fury special condition he's got. So that's another 30 damage. We just did a chunk. So his Stronghold is in range. If he can't do anything on the next turn, we effectively can win the game right here. So I'm going to pass my turn and we'll pray for the best.